Okay,
Okay.
perfect. So welcome, Urvashi. And we are talking as part of subgroup solution as part of education issue-based group in Catalyst 2030. And I will try to get more idea about your solution, your perspective. And frankly speaking, I am very excited because I have, when I made the research, I have seen that you have a very different perspective to education, and very powerful. And you kind of combine social entrepreneurship with activism in a very successful way. And it seems like you are on this way since 30 years now. Now you are quite experienced on all these topics. So I just want to start, if you let me, from in the podcast of Solvable made by Rockefeller Foundation. You said your solvable is to redefine education, and it means to redefine curricula, pedagogy, and school culture. Can you elaborate this a little bit on the context of system thinking, please? System change and system thinking approach, please.
Okay. Systems change. All right. So here's the thing, Hello, that in my opinion, education has been defined very narrowly for many years now. That was not the case in ancient times anywhere. But post the Industrial Revolution, education came to be defined as preparing children for the workforce. And that was probably the only definition it had. Mm-hmm. And to my mind, that's really narrow because we have more people in the workforce. We even have more girls in the workforce than we used to. But that has not changed. Issues of social justice, issues of equality, it has not changed the way we look at the climate, the way we look at people. So I think that education should teach people how to live. It should include issues of social justice. In fact, it should include issues of gender equality, and it should include educating for democratic citizenship, which means understanding democratic values, also understanding what your role and responsibility and rights are as a democratic citizen, how you need to be thinking critically of the system in which you exist, of your own government, and participate actively in shaping of the future of your own, of your society, of your polity. And I think that schools provide very fertile ground to do that, provided we are able to redefine the scope of education, broaden it, deepen it, widen it. And that is done, and it's not such a difficult ask. It is a difficult ask in the sense that the system is not ready for that, because what happens is schools function in a way children who will then be acceptable to colleges in higher education, because higher education have a certain of students. And higher education is designed to feed industry, because industry has a certain ask. Okay. And nobody's thinking of wider society, wider polity, and wider civil society. No one is thinking about that. Whereas I think we could change the conversation, and we have tried to do that, where even within the given system, now it's not as though we have developed, we are not preparing our children to give the national exam that all the other children take. There's the Central Board of Secondary Education, there's the Indian School Certificate, there's the State Board of Education. Our children are doing all of that. But within that, a lot of scope for change, right? And in fact, with our new education policy, they are saying that they want us to dial back on that curriculum and add other elements. So there's become even more scope now to do that. what we have done is we realized that gender equality for us was the most important issue to begin with. And so I developed a critical feminist pedagogy, which helps girls learn lessons of equality, and now boys too, along with lessons of math, science, history, geography. Most importantly, it helps them find a self, answer the question, who am I? And then position themselves in an empowering way within the social structure and the political structure. So who am I and how am I related to the universe and others in it? That's the important question. And that answer they must find. And school teachers can be trained. Curricula can be developed, and we have, which includes students in thinking about their own circumstances, their own lives, asking pertinent questions, asking, why have I been discriminated against? Why am I not treated equally? But in order to ask that question, first you must understand that I am equal, that I deserve to be treated equally. Only then you will ask that question. But if you have accepted as a God-given truth that girls are not equal to boys, they don't deserve equal education. I had bought that truth, by the way, when I was young. Then you will never ask that question. So schools can help them see that, no, you are an equal person, just like anybody else. You deserve to be treated with equal respect. You deserve to take charge over your life. You need not live in a subject and subordinate position to anybody. So if things, people in your life, whether they're within the family, and mostly they are within the family, or out in society, at your workplace, in your school, wherever, if they're treating you unequally, then that is wrong. And you have the right to protest, and you have to skill yourself so that you can start functioning as an equal, autonomous human being. So we have trained girls to do that. We have taught boys to do that. With that, over time, we have also included issues of caste. Caste is like race in other countries, where you're supposed to be born in caste, and then that defines your status in society. And so the Dalits, or the lowest, they have a very poor status. They also have a very poor self-image. And so how do you get them to develop a pride in their own identity? And how do you help people who are born in the higher caste or the upper caste, Savarna is what they're called, so that they recognize their unconscious bias, recognize that their power and privilege is unearned, and how do they learn to position themselves differently with respect to. So we are developing a curriculum for that. We are also developing a curriculum for sex education. And in that case, literally sexual politics, because we have a lot of sexual violence in India and parts of the world, gender-based violence and sexual violence within the family, outside, on the streets, in the womb. When the womb, it's not sexual, but. So how do we get girls and boys both to talk about sex, change the sexual norms? Now, what we with all of this is we really are trying to change the system, try to change the patriarchal system, patriarchal ways of thinking, patriarchal ways of functioning, patriarchal ways of behaving, of acting. So that is a huge systemic shift, but it needs, and it's really a very strong and powerful one if that happens. Now, I can't say that over all these definitely, we have made a systems thinking shift. They've started thinking differently. Even their parents, and it has made a difference in their lives. Girls have gone on to become decision makers. Their marriages have been delayed. They have started becoming the prime earners in their family, bad marriages, to say no to them, and to try to aspire to and demand an equal relationship in their marriages too. So we have made that change, but mainly we have worked at changing the way in which they think, changing the ways in which their parents think, and that has come by questioning gender norms, questioning gendered structures, questioning gendered behavior, and helping them see that it is wrong, that it is not God-given, it is human-made, it can be unmade, and that they have the right to protest, and then providing platforms where they can reverse ways of resisting safely and working with the parents at the same time.
So you are working with almost all elements of the ecosystem that influence people's thinking, because it's really a fight towards patriarchy. But
Yes.
one element which is quite interesting is that you include in this fight, because whenever we use the word fight, we are always referring to a kind of aggression, but you are introducing the element of care within this fight, and it's very innovative and unique. So can you also talk a little bit about this universe of care?
Sure. So we call Chef a universe of care, my organization. And what do we mean by that? I mean that, see, we are now almost 400 men, women, I mean, a large part of our workforce is female, about 70% is female, 30% is male. But the way we look at it is that while we work for the well-being, for the growth, for the academic, social, emotional, and let's say, what do I call it? Actually, even spiritual growth, lifetime growth of our students. The most important thing is that they must have the great faith that teachers care about them. They care about them as persons, so that they look at them as persons worthy of respect. They also believe that they can learn. They care deeply that they can learn, and they will do everything within their power to help them not just learn in the classroom, but help them face the challenges that they have at home as well and in society. They will hold their hand and enable them forever through this. The other thing we do is that we want teachers to also, and our teachers do, that they are cared for, that the organization cares for them as persons, believes in their well-being, that their well-being is also important, growth is very important, and we will do everything we can to help them grow in their lives and treating each other with respect, caring about each other as persons, and also creating spaces. Alok, are you there?
Yeah, I am
Hello?
here. I'm here.
Hello?
I am here. I'm here and I'm listening.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. And which means creating spaces in the organization for self-work for the teachers also, for all the workers.
Yeah.
And so it is, so then what happens is it becomes a universe of care, and anyone who steps in gets infected by that care. And I think the converse is also true. Look at corporations. They are such apathetic, almost abusive places that anyone who steps in, they might mean well when they step in, they get infected by the universe of care. And in that, what we advocate for and what we would like to take out to the system is they must become caring places, because it's the only ethical way to interact with each other. It is the only human way of interacting with each other. And even if, they are your employees, even if they are there to create a product which they will sell in the market, let's say, they still deserve to be treated with respect, with care, with their well-being heart. And that you have to demonstrate in your policies. And that's what I meant by the school culture. The school culture must exude that spirit. It should be there in everything that they find. Because you can say what you like. I can call it a universe of care. I can call it paradise, heaven, or anything I can call it.
No, it's very important.
If I do things different, they don't see what you.
Yeah. I'm saying this is very important to break the cycle of aggression, because unfortunately in many good education places, there is an incredible also aggression. And it was including, for example, my own school. I was raised in a French high school, which which gave very good education, but it was very aggressive, and all the relations were very aggressive, and so you are kind of trapped in this aggression. When you are subject to aggression, you also develop an aggression, at least internally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially for boys, Haluk.
Especially
we
for
are
boys.
Very, yeah, boys think that violence is something that defines them. And any time they face a problem, they meet it with aggression and with violence. Because that's the way they've been treated. And violence is something that is expected from men.
Yeah.
You know, the manly man is a violent man. He's a powerful man. He's a dominant man. But so you need to show them that no, treat them with respect and care. And they say that when you do that, it's good for you, because many men don't want to become like that. They get bullied into it.
Yeah.
And so for them, it validates their way of being. And it gives them another way to be a man.
So manhood, so to speak, makes also men suffer from it, and you are defining manhood in different ways, which is also very innovative, and it's not, let's say, to rediscover the wheel, but it's very innovative to introduce it proactively in the education system. So that makes a real difference. I want to ask a little bit about different collaborations, because we are part of Catalyst 2030, and the main concept is co-create and collaborate with different actors. And I have seen that you collaborate very effectively with the government, which is a very essential part of the education ecosystem in everywhere. So I would like a little bit to learn more about your collaboration with government.
Sure. So I'll tell you how it started. Actually, I have worked with the government for a long time, even with the teachers union in 1995 I worked, but that was as an individual, not really as with the organization. So, but what we did was that after we developed this curriculum, this critical feminist pedagogy, and I put it on videos, UNICEF saw it, the gender consultant there saw it, or gender officer. And she said, what a good idea. And why don't you work with us? Meaning, why don't you collaborate with us? And we will collaborate with the government to get you 3 districts in which to work with the teachers. I said, all right. And so they did all the liaisoning with the government, but we were their implementation partners, and we implemented in 3 districts. They liked the results. Then they said, we're in 5 more. And 3 districts was 50 schools. So then they told us to work with another 5 districts. Altogether, it was 100 schools and more. After we did that, we realized that, hey, this is a good idea. Now, UNICEF was only working in these 9 districts, so they could not now expand the program to all the districts. There are 75 in UP. So we went to the government and we said, we've done this and we've done it through your thing, but we would be happy to do it. We'll find the funding, but you let us work in your schools, and we would like you to see. We'd like you to find us space in your curriculum for this. So they agreed, and then we worked with all training schools. So altogether 750 schools we worked with. Okay. And we did that successfully. It became part of their program, and we trained the teachers on how to use critical feminist pedagogy, and we helped them get scholarships to continue their education. We managed to stop child marriages. We taught them how to interface with the parents, to interface with other community organizations who could then be the vehicles which would intervene if parents were being violent with their daughters or giving them into child marriage, etc. And that was successful. The other way in which we are collaborating with the government is that we have put all our best practices, even our lessons in math and science and history, etc., on video, and we have developed a channel called DSH Online, which is free of cost to anyone, and we have over 100,000 subscribers and 17 million views. But the government set up a national teacher platform in which they were curating good materials from organizations all over the country. They vetted us and they took 900 of our videos, which are on their Diksha platform. So that now many of their government teachers have access to it. And this was all a costless kind of collaboration. Meaning it didn't cost them anything.
Yeah.
Okay. So they reach out to us many times now. I once gave a workshop on training principals on leadership, and there were over 140 principals across the state that attended that workshop. Okay. We are working with another 20 schools in partnership with a corporation, HCL, which is the funding partner. We are the implementing partner, and the schools belong to the government, and there are 20 of those, and we have worked very successfully. We are working with another 50 schools where we are trying to pilot our co-ed gender program in their schools, and the government has given us their, and we are doing it in 50 schools. Right? In Rajasthan, I was actually a member of the government Chief Minister's Advisory Council. And there I worked very actively with the government to transform their whole system, to actually put it in place. It was broken in so many places. And there I put gender very squarely in their whole agenda. Okay. So that is how I've collaborated with the government at several levels. Now the government sees us as their go-to partner for things. There, of course, the government in UP is very hard nut to crack. So it has multiple challenges, but we work with them actively. Our goal is to support the government. And we've realized that in order to change, bring about a large-scale change, you must collaborate with government, because that's the one that serves the poorest children. So how do you know? Also, I'm on the committee of the gender revision policy of the National Institute of Open Schooling, which works with, I think, 1.9 million children. And so I have to push the inclusion, which I've shared all our good practices with them and said, you can use it in your schools to increase the participation of girls, retain them, and help to change their lives. And putting gender education into the mainstream is a very important thing, into the curriculum. Is very
important. And of course, when I look to the numbers, like you have already trained 100,000 teachers. You have transformed more than 1,000 schools, 5 million kids, and 20 million community members. These are very big numbers. These are very big numbers for many countries. But as you said, India is around 1/5 of the world population, and there is incredible negative numbers all around issues. So what do you think would be the most essential elements of increasing your scale? What type of collaborations do you need to increase even more your scale? And I ask this question locally and globally.
Yeah. So let me tell you globally what all already the steps we have taken, and then I'll tell you. See, scale comes in 2 or 3 ways. One, really idea adoption. Okay, that there's an idea, other people adopt it, and then they adapt it to their own local context. The second one is just replication. That, okay, here is a good system, here is a curriculum, let me use it, and let me just replicate it in my. So you need replication partners, you need idea adoption partners. And then, of course, you need institutional partners where you can, through them, either governments or even multilaterals like UNICEF, through them you can impact the government and their systems. Now, in what I've done with idea adoption, actually, so far a lot we've done with that. I wrote this book, and Brookings inspired me to write it. They even published it. It's called Reaching for the Sky. And if you're interested Haluk, you can find a Kindle version, I think, or you can even buy it on Amazon. It's up to you. That was the story of how we work at life outcomes, how girls are empowered, they empower themselves through an education, through critical feminist pedagogy, with a very minute, detailed account of how it happens in the classroom. And it's told from the voices of girls, the parents, the teachers, the stakeholders. Okay. And that is being taught in some universities abroad. I know that many people have read it and they come and they call me up and then they want to interview and learn more. In fact, somebody from South Korea came here to just see for herself, etc. Australia, as far as that, Africa. So that is one. Secondly, I know that Teach for India wanted, they were doing something for their fellows. And so they had me talk to them and share this with them, which I did. Then even, I think UNGI was building some kind of a gender toolkit for UNICEF centers all over the world. And there they took a video and I was included in that. Then Rockefeller sent something called Solvable, so it's part of that.
Yeah.
So Globe, and then I speak at multiple platforms where my goal is to, again, just talk about our work and talk about the idea that education should be bigger, broader, and how it should include gender equality, social justice, and mainly gender equality. So far, I've been pushing that really hard. So that is idea adoption, okay, where other organizations, other people find the idea interesting and they want to replicate it in their own area. And they want to merge it with their good practices that they're already doing, they want to merge it. Then, and see, the solutions document would be another way of taking your idea to scale. In terms of, I told you with government, I wish we could work with more government. I would like to see this being a part of the gender curriculum, not just in schools, but also in teacher training institutes, because teachers have to be trained for that. Okay. In terms of replicability, if there, I haven't found partners like that as yet, but if there were other, say, organizations running schools like ours or running girls' education programs, we are happy to share our curriculum. It's free of cost, it's open source, please take it. You want us to train your people, we can do it online, we can come in. You have to do pay our costs. We don't want anything more. Okay. You have to fund your program. So we can do that. And since we are already with multilaterals, then well, they can influence other partners in their constituencies. That's the way I see us going to scale. Okay. Working with other organizations, working with multilaterals, and our idea, as much visibility as we possibly can, so that people can use it. But most importantly, persuading people that education can do much more than it is doing. Luckily, what I find is that, for example, in the new education policy, gender is found a more respectable place. Then in terms of even globally, now you just see with Afghanistan, one of the big things people are saying is we want to see how they treat their women. And girls' education become very important, right? Thank God the world is talking about that. The world is talking about that. I really firmly believe that schools, the school curriculum needs to be changed so that it is bringing students' attention, critical attention to all the SDGs. And it can do it. It can do it. Because if you're looking at a sustainable future, then start with the children. This is their world.
Yes.
If they want to, then they better start thinking about it now. And we better drop teaching them so much science and technology, and that's okay. Now technology affords all those learnings. But let's teach them the values that will keep the planet alive and make it more inclusive, make it more caring, make it more sustainable. And that's why you have to curriculum. And you can't just add it on as after school program, side program, corner, and keep everything the same. So much focus only on math and science. Why?
Yeah.
We have more math and science. And the world a better place, more weapons,
A-
more drone attacks.
Actually, we have witnessed that this idea of progress did not bring the world to an excellent point. And unfortunately, India also is a place where there is much wealth produced, like for example, some parts of US like California, etc. In California, we see lots of homelessness.
Look, just give me a minute. Let me just,
Sure.
look, let me just draw the sun is coming in very strong. Well, it's a little better, but no, let's go do it. Anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you okay now?
Yeah, I can. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm saying that unfortunately wealth is produced in many parts of the world, but the problems of poverty and all gender problems, etc., are still very much alive. So this idea of progress did not bring us to a very good level, so to speak, and all these problems unfortunately reside. So we are in a situation where lots of things did not change much. Do you have any moments of despair yourself?
Beg your pardon?
Do you have any moments of despair yourself? Like, do you feel sometimes stuck in something, or can you talk a little bit about your internal motivations?
Just 1 second. Will do that. Who is this? 1 second. Why is my calendar beeping? I didn't think I had any other meeting. No, I don't have that. What is this? Oh, no, that's later. About internal motivations, you want to know what keeps me going?
Yeah, what keeps you going? And
is that your...
Yeah, and also, do you have any moments in which you feel a little bit disappointed, frustrated, things like this?
Oh, yes. I tell you, what keeps me going is that the task is endless and it takes everything. I know that in my lifetime, I will not see the change I really want to see. I know that because I can work second of my life and it won't happen. Because it's huge. The problem is huge. It has taken centuries getting there. It's going to take some time. Okay. What frustrates me is I encounter a narrowness of vision, gendered thinking, patriarchal thinking, and even a narrow vision of education way more than I want to. And people are so resistant to change. Sometimes they can't even see it. And it does frustrates me a lot and makes me angry. But I have found the patience to keep going. What also frustrates me is the great division, especially class division in the country. And like India, where the elite all go to private schools. And actually all the Indian social entrepreneurs that you have seen, we have all come from that background. They're all middle class and above. None of us are really poor. Okay. And so I was born in a poor family, but my father he was a refugee from Pakistan. And he came with nothing. And I was born in a two-room house where my mother would cook and then walk to this hospital to deliver her babies. She was, there was even no time or space, anything else on mine. But my father finally, he made it. He was very successful as a business entrepreneur. To a very good school, etc. But there are always discussions. There's a separate conversation for that and a separate conversation for that, and that frustrates me. Apart from that, the whole idea of quality education is still so tied to good learning outcomes in math, science, reading, writing. That narrowness of vision also frustrates me. I think the slowness of change frustrates me.
Okay.
At the same time, I've grown, I'm 66 years old, and so I've grown old and mature, that change takes time. Many things have to be in place for that change to happen. And I am satisfied now by changing the world one life at a time and changing the world one mind at a time. And with my own life, I have seen that when you change, the world changes. I know my father was very strong patriarch, and he changed because I changed. He became my biggest supporter and big. Okay. I know that many of the girls I work with, their parents have changed. They have changed their life. They have changed the lives of their younger sisters and others around them. I know the boys we work with have changed, and they have changed their own lives. They have changed the way their parents think. They're trying to influence their peers, right? And at least in the new education policy, there's a more respectable mention of gender now. So I think, and even the general outrage about the denial of rights to Afghan women, that is a sign that even in that very conservative bastion, thinking is changing. So I do feel frustrated, but I don't let it overwhelm me, and I don't let it stop. I know that actually, all this idea of scale also, between you and me, it really distresses me sometimes, because what it does is it stresses people out, it pressures people. Whereas I think I'm perfectly satisfied with doing the best I can. And I think I did that, and it has gone to scale, even without, I don't know that I was definitely working at scale. I was working at the innovation. I was working at making it better, working at deepening the idea, and it automatically got taken up. Okay. I have started working strategically with the government because I want them to take it up. I try to give it as much visibility as possible. I want to speak in I can't tell you how I speak to so many students. Every week, colleges I will speak at. And I never say no to students, never. I said, no, that's where I need to talk. Girls, boys, everybody. And I try to find every area of influence where my team, then I'm developing a cadre that will take over when I am no longer alive and I'm not there. I'm trying to document all our materials so that we can share them as widely as we possibly can. So the way I have found of dealing with my frustration is just working harder at what we do and accepting it, that, that's the world we live in. That's what we have. Yeah. Okay, so what can I do about it? That's my approach. Yeah. And how can I do my best, even within that?
So we have to concentrate what we do best and what we can do, rather than the impossibilities, let's say. So we concentrate on possibilities. Okay. I have also seen that you are involved in lots of initiatives, and they are complementary, and they also involve lots of activism, especially at the communal level. Can you talk more about this, and as well as underlying the necessity that even when you are concentrated on education, you should always have in mind the broader ecosystem and the broader community.
Yeah. So, Haluk, in fact, if you look at the vision of our organization, it says educating everyone for equality, social justice, and to be an active, caring, democratic citizen.
Yes.
So with that, in everyone, we don't only mean children in school or young adults in school, in colleges. No, we mean their parents, we mean the broader community, we mean teachers, we mean government officials, we mean everyone. Now, what we have done is when we work at gender equality in our schools, we feel that our students must understand, and that's the kind of systems thinking change that we are bringing about, that the system needs to change. And for the system to change, then they must actively try to promote that change. They do it by promoting it in their families. But what about society? So which is why we run a very large India's Daughters campaign, and we've been running it for several years now, over 10 or 8, 9, I've even forgotten. I think the first campaign was in 2012.
Yeah,
so well, 9 years.
I think 10 years. 10 years now. I have seen like
10 years. 2011.
Yeah.
2011.
2011. Yeah.
Yes. So now what we do with that campaign is that we actually, students, teachers, we all march. First, we engage in many activities within the school, in the community, and we have signature pledges. We normally take a theme of violence against girls, against child marriage, and this year, boys and men rise up and tell us how you will make India safe for her daughters. What will you do? How will you change? And what we found is we do it online, we do it offline, and we march. What that does is, one, it empowers, it gives voice to our students, to our girls. It shows them what it means to be an active citizen, that you must try to promote the change you want in the system, change in the system. And you must try to the ecosystem. And so then you have to actively engage in that. Okay. You can't just keep saying, no, the system must change and it's very bad. So what are you doing about it? Let's actively work at it. That is why we think that we have many webinars on changing or the way people think, on discussing things. And we try to include as many people that can come. So our goal is really, it makes me think of, actually, this is the Platonic idea, right? This is what Socrates had this idea, that the way to change things is to change people's minds. And to do that, you must dialogue with them, and you must dialogue with them continuously. And so that's the kind of activism we engage in, because I believe that education happens not just in the classroom, it happens everywhere. And when you educate the mind. And that is not just information, that is helping them to think, to critique, and to take responsibility.
Yes.
For the system and for changing it, to try to shape the future that they want, and not just to be buffeted or to learn to cope with it. That the future somebody else will shape, and then I will learn to cope with it. That's what education that prepares children for the workforce does. Okay. Whereas education that prepares children to be good, active, democratic citizens and change makers, they try to shape the future according to democratic values and actually work to promote it. Right? So if you ask me, I've been in education for so many years now, and really, I never talk about how to teach math well and how to teach science well and how to teach history well. I never do that.
Yeah.
Because to me, that will come if you are able to work. I think it is much more than that. It is much more than that. That your system is already teaching you. Okay, I tell you that it needs to be more relevant to your life. It needs to be embedded in the problems that people have. It must become alive. There's no point giving them dead facts. It must help them understand the world in which they live. Then that's good teaching to me. And it must be co-constructed with the students. I can give you principles. I'm not a maths person. I can't teach you that. But I can, when I train, I do talk about the larger goal of education and what the teacher's responsibility is. And I'm telling you that is very successful. What I found is that teachers do get inspired. They start thinking inwardly. They start changing their practices because they have this bigger picture in their mind. I'm trying their way of thinking. So I try to do a thinking change in teachers' minds as well.
Actually, I am very impressed that you wrote in your 5 years plan that you will create 20,000 more change makers from the educators, which means that you don't see them only as educators who educate people, but also creating new change makers themselves and their environments. So
Yes,
it's very
yes.
critical. Yeah.
Yes, yes. For example, we run many centers where we have these our teachers from the local teachers, and they teach children in the communities itself. You know, these centers are normally in the open. So mothers also come. Many people come. Opportunity to
Excellent.
interact with. It's very nice.
Yeah.
They come with their babies. All right, let's work with the babies too. And hey, why don't you sit down too? Then let's talk. So we work.
Yeah.
We work with that too. So to me, the idea of teaching and learning being limited, we need to expand everything: learning spaces, the curricula, teachers' minds, educators' minds, and make it a living, vibrant space for a lot of dialoguing to happen, a lot of thinking to happen, a lot of critical thinking to happen. You know, and not dead transfer of information. Oh God, that frustrates me a lot, by the way, when people really think that that's all it's meant to do.
Yeah.
And spend so much time and effort doing that.
I can definitely empathize with this, that the space is getting bigger and bigger for learning. Now we have every information on Google, so whenever we want anything, we can reach it without any hassle. And learning should mean much more than information, for sure. So
yes.
So the space of the whole learning is getting bigger and bigger, and also including other spheres of life, so to speak. We need to
Yes.
agree on this. Okay. What about? I want to ask a very important question according to my own perception. I see there are lots of fragmentation within social entrepreneurial sphere, and there are very tiny little organizations that are fighting for funding, which is already very limited. And on the other hand, there are organizations like yourselves that have very proven methodologies and very proven success, and they need to be expanded. Do you see any contradiction in this picture, or do you believe it's still healthy to create tiny little organizations fighting for all these resources? What do you think about it?
Give me a second.
Sure.
Give me a second. Haluk, I'm going to get some water.
Yeah, sure. Sure, I will also drink some.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay. That's what I feel. That sometimes I feel that, see, we were a tiny organization at one time, all right? And we grew. We grew because, for example, the first scale happened when UNICEF was kind enough to invite us. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then it, just one second, when Brookings, when I was invited to be a scholar at Brookings, and then, they helped me. They helped me scale my idea a lot. There was no money. They scaled my idea. Okay. So I think small organizations are on a path to evolution. And if they work hard enough at their work, it does scale. It does scale. That's been my experience. All right. In terms of us, now we are not, there are many bigger organizations. Like, for example, Pratham is this mammoth organization, and it's not part of Catalyst 2030. It's not part of any coalition that I know of, because they're like Microsoft. And what I find that very large organizations, they gulp up all the funding. They take all the bigger funding because people feel, oh, known track record, let's just give it to them. And I don't know that they have any very innovative ideas, but they have a very large outreach. With us, yes, I wish we could get more money that we could scale. I think we deserve to go to scale. We do apply for funding. But sometimes I find that funders do not understand the kind of work we are doing. I was very surprised to get the Social Entrepreneur of the Year award, quite honestly, because I felt that the other two, their scale was much more. And I said, I don't know, people normally don't like to fund feminist pedagogy. They did. They awarded it. They recognized it was systems change. It was systemic. The change we were working at was systemic, and they wanted that. So, but there aren't so many people like that. There aren't many funders who they want quick results. The kind of work we are doing doesn't give you quick results.
Yes. Yes.
And I think of anything, by the way, you only get quick results when you do something very simple.
And project-based.
Enrollment. Yeah. I can give you quick results with enrollment. Can I give you quick results with system thinking change? No, it takes time.
Yeah.
So funders don't have the patience. And it's frustrating that they will not give it a long, you need to stay with the organization for a long time and work as partners. I have some funders like that, by the way. They're not big bucks, but they are very good funders. I nominated them for, and they were on the top finalists.
I see. So you share very much the complexity, embracing complexity report prepared by Catalyst 2030. I'm saying that you share a lot the vision of the report about embracing complexity by Catalyst 2030.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you also tell?
I wish funders would learn to embrace complexity.
Yeah, and unfortunately, most of them don't. Yeah, and they are looking for quick results, as you say. Okay.
They're looking for quick results, and they don't understand. What they do is that they normally will support organizations that are already at very large scale. They say, okay, now you have the capacity to go at larger scale. Whereas there are organizations smaller, not still. So if you support them, then there'll be more scale. And also what frustrates me is part of the jury of this 100 million MacArthur grant. Give it to one organization or two. I said, why not give it to 10 at least? Actually 20. Or, they don't do that.
I see.
Look at your track record. What is your track record of funding? If you're only used to managing, say, $1 million, then they say, we can't give you 50 million of 10 million of 20 million because you can't manage it. We don't know that you can manage it.
I see.
So it's a vicious cycle. Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully, I'm very patient. And I feel it doesn't matter. And I'm not so hung up on scale. I'm not in the scale game. I'm all right. I will do my best. And that is, I think even God doesn't expect you to do more. You do your best and you hope for the best. and God takes care of the rest. That's my policy.
Yeah. So you are in the transformation game rather than the scale game, we can say.
I'm not in the scale game.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So I'm not disheartened. My team gets very disheartened. Oh, why didn't we get this grant and they got it? I said, calm down. Doesn't matter. Just keep doing our good work.
Okay. What do you think? What do you think Catalyst 2030 contributes to what you are doing, and how do you see it thriving over the years?
See, that's a difficult question. Because till now, and I've been with it for some time, I see it more as me doing something for Catalyst 2030. You know, in terms of doing for me, I've not really asked. And at the same time, I think in the long term, what it is doing is introducing me to wonderful people like you and many others who I think I hope that we will be good fellow journey people, journeymen and women, a long road ahead. And so it is always good to have fellow wayfarers, to have fellow, solidarity is always a good thing.
Yes.
And I think what it is that it is helping me build, and not because I'm trying to, and I'm not a networking person, Halu. It's just too much work and I don't strategically network. It's just not my nature. And I don't like doing it. So I'm just happy to meet whoever and hope that we connect. And if there is a synergy, it will happen. I know that. And we'll find synergies, right? But so even without strategically trying to build connections, I think just being part of Catalyst 2030, being part of the education issue-based group, it is building connections. And those I'm sure will pay in the long run. That's my honest answer.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, it's very honest.
And I'm learning a lot. Yeah, and I'm learning from what other people are doing. I'm learning from what I've learned from Jeru, who is the driving force behind Catalyst 2030, is how to pull together a network and hold it in place and hold it together. Okay, that is, I think, a skill that that's not been something I've done or I know how to do. Okay. Also, I think because I haven't put my mind to it, I'm still not sure that I want to do that. But definitely see how it works, and I've seen how it works.
So you are witnessing it and you are learning from it, we can say.
I'm witnessing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to ask two more questions. We are
Sure.
And thank you for your patience. You are answering everything very nicely.
That's all right.
One is, of course, the effects of COVID is tremendous and influencing very badly lots of inequalities, including gender inequality and poverty. And it seems like COVID will be effect for us for about maybe another 3 to 5 years, maybe even more. How do you see the future of your solution, and how do you think that your solution might be strengthened even further, given all these negative effects as well?
You know, even though there have been huge losses during this time, and definitely more people have become poor, and girls and women have become poorer, and that does have an adverse effect. What we found in my school for girls, the admissions have risen actually, more have come back also. We have lost some, but more have come back to school, and they've come from schools as well. So we have more people to work with. Secondly, because we were held hostage by technology, we learned how to use it more effectively as an empowering tool. And we hope to keep those learnings and keep doing that and innovating more with that.
Mhm.
Also, what happens is when there is a disaster, when there is a crisis, I think everybody's innovative instincts also come to the fore. Everyone's creativity also comes. And I've seen that happen in my teachers. It has happened. And also, our ties with the community have become stronger because they needed us and we needed the parents in the community in order to stay in touch with the students. Those ties have become stronger. Our universe of care stood strong through this crisis, and the community has recognized that. And so they have greater faith now. And they have greater, even in the past, what I found, Haluk, that see, everything we were saying was running counter to cultural norms, right? The community should hate, they should have booted us out, but they didn't. Our enrollment grew because they had faith in our universe of care. They felt that we care a lot about the girls and we mean them well, and they have seen that in action. So, in fact, gained more in terms of faith, and with that we get a chance to bring about the systems change that we want with more credibility, because they trust us more, and so they say, yeah, well, we listen to you more than we used to.
I see. And it's a very critical progress that this universe of care is even more influential to create more ties with community.
Yes.
It's very important stuff. Yeah, it's very important, really.
And Haluk, to your earlier question, I have a very old-fashioned response that I really feel ever since I started writing and documenting our work, and with the book and with articles in journals, etc., we have reached out to more people. So it's a very old-fashioned way of spreading your idea, which is write about it and give it to the world. Then let them do. And I mean to do that more now for the remaining part of my years on the planet.
Okay, wonderful. And one last question is, why reaching the sky? Like why do you want to emphasize reaching the sky?
Yeah, that is because they are kept so confined, and so was I. And my childhood was very limited as well, because I was a girl. Very, very limiting. And if you got a chance to look at the sky, that was a good thing. Never mind reaching it, right? And so I really want, why I titled it that was that I want our girls to think that the sky is the limit and beyond. And so that's why I reach for the sky. It is yours. It is yours. And let me tell you that it is not yours. And the roof over your head is not the limit of your world. The sky is the limit of your world. It is limitless, and so are your lives.
Okay.
The sky is limitless. It's not a roof. It just looks like that. And so that's why
reaching. Okay. So you want to underline really the possibilities, and there is no limit on the possibilities as long as someone doesn't limit.
Infinite possibilities.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I will stop the recording now, please. Just a moment.